The building process of the bookshelf was a little bit chaotic.
Stabbed my food. This is why I don't read manuals, because they're wrong. Oh my god. This is really wobbly. No wonder why they want you to screw it into a wall.
What do you mean by that? I've been reading books since I was 14 years old. However, I've never had a proper bookshelf to store them. And that is for a couple of reasons. One is that I just simply couldn't afford it. And second is that I never had a proper space to even fit a bookshelf. However, me and my family moved out a couple of months ago and now I have enough space to do that. So I wanted to take you on this journey of me building and organizing my first ever bookshelf. The first thing I'm gonna show you is an overview of my room slash office, because I actually have two rooms now in this new house. And in the office, the left side of the room is very empty, as you can see. I do have some furniture on the right side, but the left side always felt really empty for me. I decided to order the Billy bookcase from IKEA, and also I got myself a nice armchair because I've always wanted to have a reading nook.
I did it!
That took way longer than I would like to admit.
So the instruction says that I need to screw this into a wall, which I did not predict at all. So I'm gonna try to put it up without screwing it into the wall. I just need to put like a tiny little piece of cardboard at the back, I think, because this is the part where it's a little bit lower.
This is the exciting part because we're gonna be putting shelves very shortly. I have a little helper. Her name is Mocha. She is one of the 3 kittens we adopted. She's, I would say, the most social one out of all of them. So she always loves to be around me. And I appreciate that. And I think I've finished everything. And it's already 6 p.m. So I think I'm just gonna clock out and we're gonna continue tomorrow. The next day. I decided to make all of the shelves the same height. I also cleaned everything up. The sun is really not doing it for me right now, but I just need to film from a different angle. I first actually want to take fairy lights and put them all around the bookcase. I know it's basic, but I also don't care. So let me get that string of lights and attempt in trying to wrap it around the bookcase. We have the lights and also I have tape. I guess I'm gonna try to tape it down. Okay, I feel like this may work. Oh my god. Okay, one string done, but the worst thing is that I need to double line it because the string is just that long. So I'll just do it on my own and show you the end result. I'm excited. The next thing I gotta do is just, well, bring all of the books in. These are all of the books that I have. I have to say, I'm not really a huge collector of books. I think I have around 70 books, and that excludes all of the manga volumes that I have. And it's definitely connected to the fact that I just didn't have any storage space to put all of those books at. So I would basically squeeze them into every free spot that I had in my room in the old house. And because of this, I kind of developed a philosophy for the books that I keep. They have to fall into one of the 2 categories. Either A, these are simply my favorites and I just love them so much that I want to keep a physical copy of. Or B, I just simply know that I will want to reread that book at some point in my life. And usually all of the books from the category A are contained within the category B, but there are a few interesting exceptions that are definitely not my favorite books. I just want to reread them at some point. The actual first thing that I want to put on the bookshelf is my plant. I want it to be at the top of the bookshelf. Kind of adds a little bit of life to the shelf. I don't know if I should put it on the right side or on the left side. Or maybe I should put it in the middle because I'm not going to have anything over here, at least not now. I'll consider it. I actually already have a plan of how I want to organize my shelves, and I think the top one is going to be completely dedicated to Cassandra Clare because that is how many books I have from her. And the thing with Cassandra Clare is that I just have a love-hate relationship with her books because, for example, I am absolutely obsessed with these 2 trilogies. So this is the Dark Artifices and Infernal Devices. And then I get reminded that this is in fact the same author that wrote Mortal Instruments, and I'm just like, Also, these OG covers for Mortal Instruments are diabolical. Who came up with this? Who approved of this shirtless man? This is the overview of that shelf. We have Lost Hours, is it called? Then Mortal Instruments, Infernal Devices, and Dark Artifices. And going a shelf lower, this is what I was considering to be my Jujutsu Kaisen shelf. The very first manga that I decided to start collecting. Before then, I never really even read any mangas. I was just never really a manga type of person. I always preferred to watch an anime. But I'm just on the Jujutsu Kaisen train wreck and I don't think I can't get out. Maybe I shouldn't carry all of them at once, but I have all the way to volume 22. Is the camera going to focus? No? Okay. As you can see, this is falling, but also it's not taking up the whole shelf. And that is because I have actually a few decorations that I want to put on this shelf, and also I was considering displaying one of the volume covers. I am considering two actually. This is what they look like, and I like the color scheme of this one so much. It's Sukuna and it's very pinkish, bluish, and then we have Gojo because it's Gojo. So I don't know which one I want to display more. Let me like scoot myself and look at this. Maybe Gojo is speaking up to me a bit more. Maybe we could do something like that. And now I am going to put up the decorations and it's gonna help to fill out the space. So the first thing that I have, it's a little Gojo cat plushie. Isn't it the cutest thing you've ever seen? They also had a matching Geto one, but I was thinking that maybe I could kind of break off the space somewhere here in the middle. Push those volumes aside. Have it be like that. Oh, wait, I am kind of digging this. I haven't read every single one of these volumes yet because they literally just came into the mail yesterday. I've only read the first couple, so I'm trying to catch up on all of these. I have this Gojo figurine that is actually a knockoff, but I really like the quality of it. The only thing that I wish is that this hair was a bit more whiter than gray, but it's okay. I was considering putting it on top of these. And the second decoration that I have, oh, that is very close. This keychain, again with Gojo. Can you tell who's my favorite character? I was thinking of kind of hanging it on one of the volumes. Not sure if this one or these ones. Maybe these ones look better. See, I'm worried that, yeah, this is gonna be falling. So I have an idea to basically loop a string through the keychain hole, and then that string will go through one of the volumes. So let's loop it maybe through volume 13. I'm basically putting the string kind of like in the middle. All right, I'm gonna put it like really deep over here. Okay, wait, that actually stays in here. Now I just need to hide this thread. Oh, that will be the overview of the second shelf. I'm actually really happy that this keychain trick worked out. I wasn't sure about it. This shelf I'm planning to be both Percy Jackson and all of my Avatar stuff. Haven't decided if I want Percy Jackson to go on the left or on the right yet. I guess it doesn't look that bad. I just need to take my Avatar stuff now. Not that I have a lot of stuff because I only have the Avatar, the Promise Library Edition one, and also the Rise of Kyoshi. I haven't actually read this one yet. It's on my TBR, but I do want to already display it with the Avatar things. I'm already a little bit worried because I have a feeling that this will not fit in here. Oh, just look how little left. No, I was hoping that I can display it like that. Wouldn't that be so awesome? I guess I can put it just like this, and then the Kyoshi could go here. I know what is going to save this shelf. Yes, I got myself a Zuko Funko Pop, and this one is actually like a limited special edition. Apparently it glows in the dark. I have a feeling it probably doesn't, and therefore I probably spent way too much money on this. But the regular Zuko Funko Pop is Zuko in his before character development outfit and hair, and I really wanted him to be, you know, after character development era. He has been waiting patiently in the box, I think for like 2 months at this point. I got him 2 months ago when I decided to get myself my first ever bookshelf. I don't know if you can tell, but he does have scratched nose, and it came like this in the mail, which Right now, I'm just really happy that Zuko's here. That is honestly all I care about. We're gonna move on to this shelf, and this shelf is going to be what I would say books that are for some reason considered YA, even though I definitely think that it's way more of adult books, but I guess marketing. Or just simply books that have a black and red color scheme. Let me maybe put my dystopian books together. So we will start off with The Scythe, one of my top favorite trilogies ever, period. I love it so much. And also, of course, The Hunger Games. They also kind of have a similar color scheme, except for Mockingjay. Mockingjay, you don't belong here. Oh, I think I like it on the left a bit more. Then we're going to transition to fantasy books that basically have something red on the cover. For example, I have Vicious and Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Loved Vicious. I actually read it for the first time this year and I definitely am going to continue. And if you remember, I did a video on Darker Shade of Magic a couple of months ago and I said I will continue the story. But the thing is that I've heard that there's going to be more Lila in the other two books, and Lila was the worst part of this book. I'm not sure if I want to continue reading it anymore, and I'm keeping it because maybe at some point I'm gonna come back to this. Then I actually want to really display one novel cover because it's so gorgeous. Look at this. This is Heaven Official's Blessing. It was my first time reading a Danmei novel. I think objectively I would rate it 3 stars, so it was pretty average, but for some reason my enjoyment was like at 4 stars. I really enjoyed the characters. The world was so atmospherical, so I already actually purchased the second volume in this. On the display, you go. The next one is one of the top favorite of not just me, but pretty much everyone on the internet. Six of Crows, of course. I think it's gonna go right next to the Heaven Official's Blessing. Right next to it, I think I'm going to put These Violent Delights. I really enjoyed this duology. Or actually, wait, maybe I enjoyed the first one way more than I enjoyed the second one, but I still like it as a duology, and that's kind of interesting for me because anything else that I read from Chloe Gong just did not hit for me, and so I feel like her books are just a hit or miss. You're either gonna love them or really not vibe with them. In the last book, I have read the duology as a whole, but I decided to keep only the first one because from now on, I treat this duology as a standalone. I do not accept the second book. It just doesn't exist to me. It's dead. She can't come to the phone. And that is Six Crimson Cranes. This one I feel like has a very slow start, but I did enjoy it overall. I think that it's a good type of book if you're just getting into fantasy. I also think that if you are slightly younger reader, you probably could enjoy it as well. And so, you know, I went pretty optimistically into the second book in this. And first of all, what the hell was the first 100 pages? They are so ripped from the entire story and they do not influence anything. I was so angry the entire book. And I've read an opinion online that even though this is a book about a sister and her 6 brothers, the 6 brothers all feel like it's one person. And I have to admit, I agree with that. Oh, it kind of is sticking out over here. Not sure if I like it. Maybe that looks slightly better. Or is to squeeze it in here. Oh, I guess that looks better because then you have this nice contrast with all these 3 colors of red, white, and black. It does feel a little bit empty over here on this little corner, but I don't really have anything else to put there, so we're just gonna ignore it. Okay, can I put this down? Okay, this shelf I want to be basically only fantasy romance because this is one of my favorite genres in general, and therefore I have a lot of books. So we're gonna I don't know, I need to put those books down because I can't breathe. The first books that are gonna be on the shelf are obviously the Cruel Prince trilogy and the second duology with Oak as the main character. I don't know what this one is called in English, but I ate the second book in that duology up so fast. One of the best Holly Black books ever, in my opinion, of course. For now here, and then we're gonna consider what to do afterwards. I also have Caraval, but only the first 2 in this trilogy, the Caraval and Legendary. I still haven't read the finale and I don't know if I want to, though I am considering maybe picking up the Once Upon a Broken Heart because I've heard people say that you don't need to finish this trilogy to understand what is happening in there, and also allegedly it's much better than the Caraval trilogy. So maybe at some point I will reach for it. I also have A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I do enjoy this trilogy, but I would say if you want to read it, read only the first one. There was so much character assassination. That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe we're gonna squeeze it here. Next up, we have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I liked actually both of these. I don't really know why so many people said that they're disappointed with Ruthless Vows. The vibe and the overall story was very similar to Divine Rivals. It's just that the first book focused more on the romance and the second one focused more on the war. I will say that my enjoyment of the first one was way bigger than the second one. And now we're gonna get probably to the most devastating and juicy book that I have in my whole collection. Remember when I said at the very beginning that I have a philosophy when it comes to keeping books? Yeah, this book completely breaks those rules. This is A Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco, and let me just say that I am literally only keeping it for the sprayed edges. Do you see how pretty that is? I actually just want to put this on the display, but if we're gonna be talking about the contents of this book, let me tell you this, if you are looking for some sort of sexual fantasy, then that is definitely a book for you, because basically every conversation between the main characters ends up with them being very aroused. But the thing is that this is promoted as a romance book, not as an erotica. That's why, you know, I went into here thinking that there's going to be some romance build up and also an actual plot, because it's very heavily hinted here that there is some sort of plot. The plot is non-existent. It's just an erotica. And again, if that was promoted as an erotica, then that would be great. This is the problem, I think, with the industry. I don't think it's just the problem with this book. I think it's a problem with the industry, that because the books are so falsely advertised, it just messes up with you, because you go into a book expecting something and then you're just not getting it. Isn't also false marketing illegal? And also, this is literally the fourth book from Carrie Maniscalco that I've ever read. And I think I just need to admit to be defeated by her. I don't think I'm ever going to like a book from her. And that's the problem, because I absolutely love the ideas that this author has. She has so many cool concepts, and then I just get disappointed over and over again. I read the first two books in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. I also read Stalking Jack the Reaper, and finally Throne of the Fallen. So 4 books in total. Was I satisfied a single time reading one of her books? No. So why am I keep reaching for them? I'm saying farewell, and I'm only keeping this one because I want to display this beautiful sprayed edge. I don't know if I'm gonna display it here or somewhere else. Let me just put all the other books onto the shelves, and then I can figure out what to do. I also have The Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. If you are looking for a super wholesome LGBTQ+ romance, please read this. This one, just thinking about this warms my heart. Maybe let's put it here so that we have the red books next to each other. I have another standalone, and that is To Kill a Kingdom. I knew there was a kingdom in the title. Kind of like a Little Mermaid retelling, but the prince is a siren hunter. She's a siren. I'm thinking to put it probably here, because on the left we're having darker colors. And lastly, I have 2 more books from Bridget Kemmerer. We have Defy the Night and Defend the Dawn. I still need to read the 3rd book in this trilogy, but I am worried because, you know, considering these 3 books from that same author, this can end really poorly. This book, Defy the Night, is actually one of my top probably 5 favorite books that I've ever read. So imagine my surprise when I read this one and realized that it sucks. So we ended up with this order of books. I actually don't mind it. I think this color palette looks pretty cohesive, but I don't like how this book just lays there. It just looks like, ugh, I've given up on life. And honestly, that is kind of how I felt after reading this book. So have no fear though, because I just remembered that I actually have 2 decorations to put on both of these shelves. So the first one is just this cactus candle. It's so cute, isn't it? It can probably stay here. This corner is a little bit more green. And the next one is going to be completely unrelated to both of these, to be honest with you. And that is another Funko Pop. Considering how much of Gojo stuff I have, you know, all the way over there, I figured that maybe I should just get another character who also just so happens to have white hair, be in his late 20s, and also cover his eye because it's extremely powerful. I clearly have a type. A Kakashi Funko Pop, which I actually wasn't planning on doing that, but I was super lucky and got this Funko Pop, I think 70% off. It was ridiculously cheap. And I was like, you know, why not? Since it's so cheap, and I do enjoy Kakashi as a character. Here's the boy. I actually haven't taken him out of the box yet even once to check if everything's all right. Oh, he looks cute. He could go here probably. It's just like, it's missing like one single book to fill this hole in. Unless I would put all of these books. Maybe if I center it, does it look better? I'm just gonna move on. I've spent way too long on this. The last shelf though is going to be what I will call pile of shame. So these are the only books that are only in the category B, because with basically all of these books except for this one, all of the other books are in both categories. So they are in the category of my favorite books plus books that I want to reread, but the pile of shame is just going to be filled with books that I did not like whatsoever. But I just really want to reread them at some point. Oh wait, I just remembered that I have one more book that I can put on this shelf. It's a book called It's Never Too Late to Begin Again. This is actually a book dedicated for elders and how to enjoy your life again after you have retired. I would recommend it to basically anyone at any age because it just helps you to find the little joys in life, reconnect with your hobbies. So if I redo this again, oh, I don't like the way that looks at all. That works for me. And going back to this pile of shame, you probably have already noticed that yes, I do in fact have the Akadar trilogy. I think this is the definition for me of a pile of shame. Also, I have the Twilight Saga. I say that as if it was like an exciting thing to put in here. And because this shelf over here has so much free space, I was actually considering to just put all of my books that I have on the physical TBR. For example, I have the Young Elites by Mary Lou. I have read the legend from this author, but I didn't feel super connected to it. I also have the Scarlet Moth, which is supposed to be a story about a witch and a witch hunter. Kind of excited about this one actually. An Ember in the Ashes, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Volume 1. I actually have read all of these chapters already online, but I stopped reading this story just kind of rapidly because I needed to focus on my finals when I was still in my master's degree, and I was thinking of maybe trying to get back to the story, especially because I think Crunchyroll already announced that they are going to animate the story. Then I have Babel by R.F. Kuang. As I mentioned earlier, the second volume in the Heaven Official's Blessing. Isn't it so cute? I absolutely love this lotus flower over here at the edge of the cover. And finally, from that same author, the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I have watched a few episodes of the drama that is based off of this novel, but I gotta say, something was missing for me. And that something was gays. The gays were missing from it. So I want to read, you know, the actual source and cherish the romance between the main characters properly. I think I'm just gonna put these books like that without really any system because, as I said, this is my TBR, so it's probably gonna end up being put somewhere else eventually anyway. So this is the final overview of the bookshelf. I did actually slightly reorganize the bottom two ones. Now I finally feel satisfied with the way these books look on the bookshelf. And then these ones I decided to push to the left side instead of them being on the right side. And I guess as a bonus little treat, you're gonna also get kitties. I'm trying to teach them to sleep on this chair, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been actually pretty successful about it, so. That'll be it for today. Thank you so much for sticking around for this really awesome journey. I am so happy with the way this turned out, and I can't wait to hopefully in the future expand my little library. I'll see you in a few weeks.